Welcome everybody to the first edition of the Hard Truth Show. Guys, the reason I put this show together is because I am so sick and tired of the media. I am sick and tired of seeing people lied to, sick and tired of seeing all the garbage that's out there. I just want to go ahead and preempt this first video that, like, the other day I seen an article that 99% of the people that died in Italy was not due completely to the coronavirus. They had other stuff going on. 99%. That was in Bloomberg on the news. Guys, you're never going to hear the truth until long after the fact a lot of stuff happens. Now, on this show, we're going to start bringing stuff out. Guys, I want to show you right here. If you haven't never seen the show The Matrix, you need to take these right here every day. A good old dose of red pills. Every time you breathe, all right? Because I'm going to tell you, we're being lied to, and I'm over it. Now, guys, I hope you enjoy this program. We're going to be covering religious things, political, government, relationships, prep, and off-grid living. I'm going to run the whole gambit 3 times a week. For those that's known me the past 8 years, I try not to say the pagan days of the week. So on M days at 9 o'clock, W days at 9 o'clock, and F days at 9 o'clock, 3 times a week, this show will be on in the evening time. All right. Sometimes I'm going to do a live when I'm home, but most of the time it's probably pre-recorded. Things that I wanted to cover, topics, and etc. It's time to get woke. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there's 2 types of woke. Like, for example, I seen recently, the current woke that most people do. Like it was The Last of Us 2 for those that play PlayStation 4, right? Well, apparently it was pushing a lot of agendas out there and stuff, and that's not the woke I want to be, okay? I want to be the woke where that we show people the truth. That's the woke I'm talking. I'm going to drop another fact on you right here is when people say, man, I need to take the red pill. One thing that you don't understand, and if you look at The Matrix real closely, anybody that watched the movies, and I'm really interested to see the 4th Matrix installment come out, but if you look at it, you really didn't need to take the blue pill. If you watch the intro of this show, you see the red, white, and blue, the patrioticness of the Hard Truth Show come together, but you also see that red and blue circle, the red-blue pill. A lot of people don't need to take the blue pill because actually you're still asleep. You don't need to take it to go back to sleep. You're still asleep. So here's the deal, guys. When it comes to religious things, the first couple episodes, and I apologize that I don't have the mic in front of me today. There's a couple things for the studio that hasn't showed up yet. It's not supposed to be here till like the 6th of May. So anyway, we'll have good quality streaming audio. I've got the microphone set up, everything. It should be here this week. So like the first 2-3 episodes that you see after that, things are going to be back to normal. We'll have this studio actually set up the way I want it. An office. Well, like when it comes to religious things, like I know the first religious topic that I'm going to get into, probably the 3rd video here, is, does the commandments still matter? Because I've seen, this argument go back and forth for so long, and it's time just to put it to rest. Scripture's very plain on that. It needs to die, okay? People need to understand the commandments still matter. Another thing, I'm going to go in on is, relationship stuff. Is the next video you're going to see, the most important prep you can make under salvation and keeping the commandments and obeying the Father is having a good partner. And I'm going to hit it from both sides of the fence. This is not a MGTOW show. This is a red pill show, but this ain't a MGTOW show. I'm going to hit it from both sides so men and women can see what is wrong with relationships these days. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not have a good partner with you, you can do everything to prepare right and still fail. That's facts. When it comes to prep and living off grid, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know me, I'm going to go into my background in just a minute because, like if you follow this channel for 8 years before I ever started this extra program, you know a lot about me. But I literally have spent the past, the past 6 years, this is going in year 7 now, of taking people off grid. I mean, like water, food, tiny houses, solar, just everything, aquaponics, hydroponics, greenhouses. We built it, worked around it all, storm shelters, safe rooms. Dude, this is This has been my livelihood, okay? I am a contractor. I'm in the field doing this every day. I literally was in the field bolting solar panels down the other day. Here I am today sitting here doing a show, producing it with you, all right? So I'm telling you, I'm going to come at you with prep and stuff, try to every single show we do, too. I'm going to take a little segment out of whatever we're doing on that show and cover that. Because there's things that I want to bring out to you guys because, listen, I can't bolt everybody down, but I can sure share some information with you where that you can go, build your own stuff, do your own thing, all right? And we got some neat how-to video stuff coming up soon, too. That's why I've been away for a while, too, because I've been working on this stuff in the background trying to get things set up. So, you know, I mean, we're going to call a lot of things out on the carpet right here. You know, right before I say anything else, for those that have not followed me over the years and know anything about me, and this may be the first time you've ever watched any of my content on YouTube. My name's Lucas Cameron. I go by the handle Seven Trumpets Prepper. In 2009, the Most High God, through His set-apart spirit, woke me up in Babylon in the SUN Day Church, okay? And, you know, it was a hard hit because I came into the truth about keeping the Father's commandments, that they were still valid. I came into the truth about the Seven Trumpets Revelation, hence why the channel's called Seven Trumpets Prepper. You know, and this is the Hard Truth Show hosted by Seven Trumpets Prepper. You know, and then I found out about the Father's calendar. Following that, at Awakening, that was in the winter of 2009 on the pagan Roman calendar, that I came to truth about the Father's calendar. And started learning about it. Well, I didn't have a full grasp on it yet, so I went to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, where I continued my studies, continued looking into the truth, and then from there came to the Father's appointed times, so many other things, biblical prophecy, and the end days, more information about the end days. And from there, I left the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I consider what I'm walking out now as the way. Okay, we need to obey Yah, keep His commands, believe on the Son. Sacrifice for our, you know, for the atonement for our sins. And ladies and gentlemen, forgive me if I'm fumbling my words. I'm telling you, I'm going to get hot on this stuff because, like, I have been holding back for so long. I've tried to figure out a platform that we could just go in on this stuff. I don't have to worry about it no more. Matter of fact, another thing I want to tell you is as the awakening came, you know, I found out about a lot of things. The flat earth, Father's geostationary flat earth under a firmament dome, true Hebrew Israelites or the so-called black man, and just one thing after another just kept stacking. Okay, these things just kept stacking, and of course prepping and etc. And so that's brought me to who I am today. You know, in 2000, let's see, it was 2014, I opened Off Grid Contracting. Well, check us out, offgridcontracting.com, and I've been doing that ever since. And you know, I will say this, is that as I've went through this journey, I see that the more woke I get, the more asleep I see the world is. There's an article published by The Guardian that's going to also be an upcoming episode, but I'm going to wait and make sure I've got the audio equipment set up because I want to go in on that, is because there's slanderous comments toward Doomsday Preppers, people that were on Doomsday Preppers such as myself. And actually they asked me to come back on there again here recently, to which I declined. And, you know, because they were doing something around this pandemic thing, and all I figured is they're going to try to make people look fool again, and I ain't down for that. So anyway, you know, long and short of it, if you look at how the world respects people that are preparing today and preparedness in general, if you look at this article, it's a very clear picture of how the world sees us. And not only that, if you go out into public during this coronavirus thing and you look as a prepper and see the world how they're reacting, that is so crystal clear with that article. And that's why it's definitely something I want to cover on the show. And so anyway, I just want to hit the highlights here real quick, guys, is, you know, when it comes to religion, today, religion is just blinding and binding the masses. You know, this is the Hard Truth Show. I want it to be something unlike anything else that's ever been. You know, like, this is red pill when it comes to relationships. This is red pill when it comes to prepping. This is red pill when it comes to the government. This is red pill when it comes to religion. Like, I am not going to show no mercy to none of the topics. And I think that's the problem today, is like, you see a lot of men out here, especially in the MGTOW community, and like, it's just bash women, treat them like dirt, throw them to the curb, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not about that. I still believe in relationships. With that said, I'm going to drop you one caveat right here real quick, because the next episode you're going to see, it's going in about carefully choosing your partner in life, because not only that, prepping that everything else founded up on that under salvation, right? Well, literally there is a stat out today by the government, and I'm going to repeat this in the video coming up, but literally there's a stat out in the video today, or stat out today that I'm sharing with you in this video, that since I think it was 1867, since that they were literally keeping statistics on marriage, that it is the lowest now that it's ever been in history. Do you know why? Is because people don't know how to treat people right anymore. That's all there is to it. And just a heads up, guys, I'm going to try to keep these shows at like 30-minute segments. And I'm not going to hold back anymore on the things that I've wanted to say, because, you know, I posted 4 videos recently. 3 out of those 4 got demonetized like that. Now, it's not that this show's about the money, but I use the money for a lot of things. Like, we got the Restoring the Foundations conference, which I'll go into that at the very end of the video, get you all that info about that. It's free to the public to come. I think almost a fourth of the tickets are already gone for the thing in August, so just a heads up on that as well. But, you know, we're going to get sponsors. I've been working with people to get sponsors on the channel, and start sponsoring this. I don't really give a flip if YouTube gives me 10 cents anymore, okay? I don't. I'm done with it. This is not the YouTube of 2007, okay? This is not the YouTube of 2017. I mean, like, a long time ago, whenever I signed up for YouTube, like, it's not the same world that it was then, all right? It's just facts. And not only that, the people that own it have an agenda. If I wanted to promote homosexuality on here, man, they'd be singing my praises to the heavens. And, you know, I want to see homosexual people come to the truth, so I'm not trying to beat up on the homosexual. But I go on here and I talk about the Second Amendment, I'll be demonetized like that. That's not cool. That, you know, and I understand this place is nowadays, due to YouTube's terms of service, this is not a place of free speech. This is a business platform. So here's the hard truth, and this is my business showing up to tell you the truth, and I'll take care of my own funding in the background, all right? Now, when I said, so let's go off these few points here, all right? 4 premises for this show. Prepping. Guys, if there's ever been a time to get woke, and I said the real woke, not like the woke with society, it's now. You know, I literally had a conversation the other day with an elder, was talking about that people, there's 2 types of people that during this whole coronavirus thing that went on. There's people that they were asleep at the wheel, and they got woke up for just a second, long enough to keep their life going, and then they decided to go right back to sleep. These are the blue pill people. And then there's the red pill people that they were wanting to get off grid, they were wanting to get prepared, and this coronavirus was just the catalyst. A catalyst is something that pushes you forward, all right, right? So this was a catalyst to get people to actually get their self in check and get things moving. Kid you not, as an off-grid contractor, we're specialized in off-grid construction, getting people off-grid. I've literally never booked so many people since we've been open. Facts. It is still ringing off the hook, emails and everything else, and I'm just one man. I guarantee you there is people around the country right now bolting people down off-grid because people have gotten woke. That's a fact. And they ain't going back to sleep, all right? People's cashing in their whole life savings, retirements, everything else, and getting off grid because they're done. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I seen a meme. It was like from the Disney show El Dorado or whatever, and the guy was talking to the other tribal chief guy, and he's like, "What are we going to do?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "If they keep printing money, why do we need to pay taxes?" And then there's the scene where the big tribe chief guy goes, "Because it's the facts. We're printing monopoly money." I mean, why do you think they killed Kennedy? Is because he wanted to go back to the gold standard, because gold and silver actually held value. That's why, heck, I allowed them to advertise on the channel. But one day, even that's not going to hold value anymore, folks. It's just facts. And listen, we need to be prepping now more than we ever have in our entire life. I'm going to tell you real quickly this, and I promise I'm going to get in on the 4 premises of this show, which we're kind of going into the first one right now in prepping, is literally when this virus started, okay? I was in California. I was in Sacramento waiting an airplane flight home from doing a job out there, console. And there was nobody up in the airport. I could have skateboarded from one end to the other, and it was midday, middle of the day, and there wasn't a soul up in that place hardly. All right? I could have sprawled out in my flight and just took a nap. All right? I mean, like, there's hardly anybody up on the planes. Well, come fast forward, come home, and, you know, I'm walking through town. I go up in the Kroger. The toilet paper's gone. The dairy's gone. The meat's gone. The milk's gone. People's freaking out. And I'm just walking through like I'm just getting a vision in my head of how Jeremiah felt when he's walking through Jerusalem. And, people's eating the flesh of their own sons and daughters, and the walls are crumbling down, and Babylon's at the gates. And they've listened to this man for years, mocked, derided him, and disrespected him. And now every word he said is coming to pass that the Most High God, through a set-apart spirit, put on him, and they didn't listen. And I'm just feeling like this is how Jeremiah felt, man. This is crazy. I'm walking through here. I actually got angry. I got angry because I'm like, I can do everything in the world to try to prepare. I can do everything in the world to try to help my neighbor. I can do everything in the world to try to do the right thing and still fail because my neighbors around me and the people in this world around me don't care. And there's more of them that don't care than there is that do care. And so the only thing I can do is separate myself from their company. And ladies and gentlemen, that's something we've got to really start understanding is that in a preparedness mindset, it's great to be prepared. But it's the same thing, most people around you think you're crazy until it hits. And see, now let me tell you this. When this all hit, okay, people that I have told for like a decade to get ready, I'm like, gosh, y'all need to prepare. Let me help you. Here's some info here. Sharing this tidbit that, give people gear sometimes as a gift. Heck, I gave a friend of mine a 30-day food supply bucket, I believe it was, for their wedding gift years ago. I mean, dude, I've always tried to get people woke, right? And so when it all hit, people started hitting me up on Facebook. They're like, oh, Luke, what do we do? Text starts coming in. Phone calls starts coming in. You know what I done? I ignored them. Forget you. It's been 10 years. If you ain't gonna listen, now the rain started coming down. I'm on my boat, and I hope the Most High shuts the door right in your face and you drown. Done. And I don't mean to be mean, but that's why I'm telling you I started doing this show, because I'm going to be 100% with you. Call it right here on the carpet. I mean, I don't want nobody to die and go to the fire, all right? But listen, there comes a time when I'm done with dealing with people. And the Most High's got a time when he is coming. He is going to be done dealing with us, all right? If the flood in Noah's time wasn't enough, if the starvation in Joseph's time wasn't enough with the granaries in Egypt, then you ain't never going to get it. I mean, the past is indicament of the future to come. Crap ain't gonna get better. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if it's people don't want to see. I don't know if it's people are blinded and the blinders just haven't, the scales hasn't dropped from the eyes. I don't know if it's people's a special kind of stupid. But the time is, and yet is to come, when there is never going to be such a time on earth as ever was, nor ever will be again. All right, if we look at the scripts in 2 Ezra chapter 16, it says, woe to you, Babylon, Asia, woe to Egypt, Damascus, put on haircloth, sackcloth, bewail your sons and daughters, because your destruction's now at hand. And I don't even need to get the scripts off the shelf for that. I can tell you straight up. It literally, line item, go on down the verses, and then it says, this is the beginning of sorrows. The reason that you don't see these scriptures in your modern Bibles, because if you actually got to read it, pick it up, digest it, spiritually, mentally, physically, right, is that you would understand that we are this close to the crap officially hitting the fan for the end of the days. Okay, there's the end days, and we've been living in them since Messiah, right? And then there's the end of the age, the aeon, the age, right? And then there's going to be Messiah's kingdom, the Most High's kingdom set up right here on earth, right? And if you look at it, especially you put prepping in place, right? Just like Noah done, just like Joseph done. And you look at today, it plainly says these things are going to happen. So we see these nations laid waste, right? And then I think it's Isaiah 17, the burden of Damascus, right? So Damascus is a ruinous heap. So when we see Damascus a ruinous heap, which you can look at Aleppo today and other places over there, it's almost happened, right? Then, we look at Revelation. What happens? There's a great worldwide earthquake. Then the 7 trumpets. I mean, for crying out loud, folks, I used to think that the trumpets would be a wake up to the world. And I mean, no disrespect to the Father's will. No disrespect to his word. But I'm starting to think that it's going to go down after looking at the COVID thing, because the COVID-19 thing. Like I said, there was 2 groups of people. There's people that actually prepped, and then there was the people that they got woke up, but only for a minute went back to sleep, because there was this lady that bought all this toilet paper. And then she went back to the store to return it the minute things got better. And they won't, what the flip? This is the mentality of people, okay? And it's not getting any better. So when the trumpets start and a third of the stars fall out of the Shemayim, out of the literal heavens above, the firmament dome above, and it'll light up a third of the earth's trees and grass and everything else burn up, people going to be like, oh my goodness. And then they're going to be like, week 2. All right, man. Who's playing today? Oakland Raiders? Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, and it's going to be back to business as usual, watching a football game like San Francisco 49ers playing the Raiders or something. You know, I mean, like, they're not going to care. And that's why we that are woke, that have took your red pills, have got to stay woke and get away from this mess. You know, it occurred to me, you know, it's something interesting, and then I'm going to go on to the other 3 tenets of this show, right? Because I know I've stayed on prep and hardcore here for a minute. But, you know, when it comes to, actually, I've hit kind of on the religious tenets too. The 2 of them here out the gate, right? Is that if you look at it, I just paid attention to this recently, that Lot had unleavened bread with the messengers that came into Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And they broke bread together. And then they took them out of the city, and what happened? Fire rained down and destruction. I've noticed, you know, following Passover, there's always something around Passover, right? You look at the Passover with when the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called black man, right? The Hebrew Israelites, when they left Egypt, right, out of Mitzrayim, well, there was the Passover, then there was a judgment on the Egyptians, and then the people came out. Now this year it was interesting. There was this whole firstborn challenge pick thing right around Passover time, right? And then there was this COVID-19 thing, and it's interesting. Elder that I go to fellowship with, shout out to Elder, he said, Brother Billy said to me, he said, you wait and you watch that whenever Passover's done, it won't be like a week or 2 later, this COVID thing and be like, poof, gone. And literally, it was like 2 weeks to the day, I think the man almost said it. And I think it was like, yeah, I think if you count from Passover forward, it was like the 28th of the April or whatever. Anyway, like Florida, Tennessee, all these states and stuff. Just let's get back to business as usual. Let's open up. I went out the other day. Things are just almost back to normal as they are. And I'm just like, you know, it's a great point. I mean, like, I'm trying to really pay attention to a lot of the things my elders have said to me anymore, because, like, it is literally so true, and they're just happening, boom, 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 right in front of our face. You know, the next thing I want to say real quick, you know, like, is on this show, like, the religious thing, we've talked about biblical things all through the years, folks, but I've just not went in on it like I'm going to in the future. Like, I no holds barred, call stuff right on the carpet. And, you know, when it comes to the other things, it's political and government. Dude, there's things I have just not said, because it's like, I literally said something about 5G recently on the channel, demonetized like that, threats to take YouTube videos down. And I'm just like, you know what? I've got to get smart about this. I've got to relabel how I say things. I've got to put this all-inclusive inside a show so that the content's protected, so that it's not so much the title anymore, because I've seen that the Hard Truth Show would pass. But I've got to be more smart about how I say things, how I word things, but I want to go in on it. And so, you know, politics, government, man, we're just going to charge hard in on that anymore. And, you know, the news is ran. The news is ran by the government anymore. That's a big thing you got to understand, folks. We're literally living in a world that's almost like Nazi Germany, like the Third Reich, mixed with 1984, mixed with The Man in the High Castle. If you've never read that book or watched the series on Amazon, like, if you mix those 3 in a bundle, that's really the America that we're living in today. Like, I mean, we're not the world that, listen, America is not the America of the 1950s anymore, okay? You know, like, homosexuality is praised, the marriage, traditional marriage is slandered. You know, it's sleep it up with whoever you want to, no responsibilities, abortion everywhere, nobody cares about doing the right thing anymore, religion sold out, the government is corrupt, we have the deep sale government, you know, the things going on in deep government that people don't understand, because there's so much shadiness. And then, you know, I mean, there's just, it's not, this is not the 1950s anymore, folks. We're in the 2000s, okay? And it's never, things are not going to be like our grandmother, grandfather. As a matter of fact, we got grandmas on here nowadays. I'm going to go on the next thing here, relationships. We got grandmothers on here nowadays that's trying to shake things out there on the internet, right? Hey, on Tinder, looking for a man. I mean, this ain't your grandma that, like my grandmother was, all right? I mean, I'm telling you what, like, if you have not swallowed your red pills, listen, you got to swallow those suckers because you got to come to a place of acceptance, all right? Because that's the biggest thing I want people to understand on this show is you got to get to a point of acceptance so you can move forward. And you got to, because if you don't understand, if you don't get woke and you don't see the things that's going on, you're never going to get to a place where that you can grow. Because the world we're living in today is jacked up. All right, and it ain't getting any better, and I'm here to tell you that. That's why we telling you the hard truth, okay? I understand it isn't painful. I am here to serve up pain, and the more you come here, the more pain, the more gain. You know, every time I lift the solar panel up, I'm like, one day my arms going to be twice the size they are because I'm going to just keep working in the field, and that's it. No pain, no gain, all right? Now, with that said, you know, the last thing I want to say to you guys, I'm sorry, guys, move the can there. Last thing I want to say to y'all is that as far as the Restoring the Foundations Conference, now, if you've never been to a biblical conference, scriptural conference, something like that, you know, this is something that I want the channel and I want the show to start helping fund, promote. There's a lot of agendas. I got agendas, okay? It's promoting the kingdom, all right? It is. And, you know, another thing, I just spoke with Pastor Dow recently when I was out there doing some more solar work for them, and he's going to be coming to the conference on the 16th speaking about building community. Now, I haven't got his shout-out video up because I got to get with him, make sure we sort out all the times and the rest of the stuff, but I've got him and a couple other people, musician stuff and things. We're about sorted out on everything, but I'm going to have that up very soon. And like with the conference, the big thing that we're trying to accomplish with the conference is I want to bring people in from all walks, all over the place, okay, different, you know, everything from elders and teachers and scholars and musicians. And I want you to be able to come to that conference and take a bit and a piece here, you know, because at the end of the day, the set-apart spirit and the scripture is going to teach you the walk, okay? And at the end of the day, the Most High is going to bring you where you need to if you trust in Him. But these people are educated and they have a great background in a lot of different aspects. And although there's some things I may not agree here or there with certain individuals, I invited these people, okay? And there is something of a value they have to share with you that you can take and help build your walk and grow with it. And that's the most important thing, you know, and we need to be building and growing in these last days as a community and faith. So guys, check that out. The link is in the video description below for the Restoring the Foundations Conference. Make sure to come back. This show is going to be up every M Day, W Day, and F Day on the pagan Roman calendar. And if you haven't checked out the Father's Lunisolar Biblical Scriptural Calendar, you can check that out at worldslastchance.com. Highly encouraging. So guys, this has been the Hard Truth Show. And until we see you again here, as I've always said on the channel, hope the Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make His face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friend. In Yahushua.